Hello there ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video on Scum. Today is all about firearms. So, let me preface this and say, if you know everything there is to know about the firearms in this game, this video is not particularly for you. However, you might find some tips, you might find some things that you might find interesting about this video, but this is mostly targeted at folk who are either confused, lost, or don't know what kind of attachments, magazines, calibers, and all sorts of things go with particular firearms. There's also a few things in here that we want to learn as well. So, if you already know these things, it's not for you. You can stay and watch for if you really want to, but this is mostly targeted at people who are either new to the game, who are either thinking about the game, or they just like firearms in general. Anyway, into the video. Let's start with the pistols. So, this game has a massive variety of pistols. Obviously, we have a very few amount of calibers here, but we're going to start with the Deagles. So the Deagles have two calibers that you can choose from. We have the Deagle 50s, which come in two different types. We've got the gunmetal and we've also got the gold plated. Let me just show you what the gold plated looks like. It is very Call of Duty 4, if I say so myself. The gunmetal one still looks absolutely magnificent. There it is in the sunshine, and they are both 50 Action Express. We also have 357 Magnum here. Now there's no noticeable difference in terms of looks. It still looks like a Deagle. It still looks the way it should be. However, the difference obviously lies in the caliber and the magazine. You cannot use a 357 round or the magazine in a 50 Action Express Deagle. The same goes for a 50 going to a 357. It doesn't work. Next, we have a couple of revolvers here. I'm going to show you the Judge 44. The Judge 44 is a nice, big, stinky revolver. It is an absolute beast of a weapon. It's an absolute killer. I love it to bits. But in these next revolvers, you'll probably notice something quite interesting about them. We have a 38 Peacekeeper here. We have a 357 Viper and Serpent. And below them, we have two different types of calibers. We have the 38 Special and we have the 357 Magnum. Did you know in this game, and I believe in also in real life as well, because I don't know much about revolvers, the 38 Peacekeeper can take 357 Magnum. Same with the 357 Viper and Serpent taking 38 Special. Let me just demonstrate this. I'm going to unload this, right? What's that ammo? 38 Special! This is a 357 Magnum weapon. We can obviously load 357 in this, or we can load 38 Special in this. The same goes for the 38 Peacekeeper. Let me just show you. Right? So, what do you think is going to come out of this? 357 Magnum. 357 Magnum. Now, this little gun it doesn't look intimidating at all. You can obviously see the assortment of guns that we have in these gun racks here. This is not a very threatening weapon. Yes, it's still a firearm, but it's not very threatening. And it's definitely not something that a lot of people will be like, ha, you won't be able to hit me with that, until they realise that it's 357 Magnum going through their chest. So, if you do find yourself grabbing one of these guns, you have the variety of two different calibers, 38 Special and 357 Magnum. Now, we're going to move on to my favourite caliber, or one of my favourite calibers in this game, which is the 45 range. In the 45 range, we have the Block 21 and we have the M1911 in a variety of different colours. We have JW's streamer item, we have the engraved version, we have the gold-plated version, and we have the standard version. We're going to start off with the Block, because this is one of my favourite weapons. I love this gun to bits. Now, I also have to preface this, that most of these guns, not the revolvers, most of these guns can take reflex sights. So, if you do find yourself finding pistol sights around the map, suppressors and such, you can attach them to these guns. Now, I love the Block 21. I love it. It's 13 rounds of 45 ACP. I love the kind of basket and ball iron sights on it. It's a fantastic weapon. If you find one, get a magazine for this. Now, the next is the 1911, the old classic. A 7-round magazine. It is an absolute killer of a weapon. This is one of the fan favourites amongst a lot of players. And we've also obviously got the variety of different colour schemes. We've got the gold-plated one, which is very Call of Duty 4. We have the engraved version, which is a very nice engraved kind of designed pattern. It's a repeating pattern across the whole gun itself. It's very, very fancy indeed. And we've also got JW's streamer item, his iconic red with his signature on the barrel there, or on the slide right there as well. Next caliber we're going to head up to is the 9mm category. Now the 9mm category consists of the M9 in two different types, or two different shades. We've also got the HS9 and the HSSF19 or 19, depending on how you say it. So this is a 15 round magazine little gun. It's probably the most common gun that you will find across the entire map. Every police station, every town, every POI, you will most certainly find the M9, and along with it you will find the M9 magazine. Now 9mm in this game is also one of the most common rounds that you will find on the map. Doesn't matter where you find it, you will find it. And it is a pretty fun little gun to use. I love it. It just sounds so good. This gun also has a variety of attachments. It's also got its own dedicated flashlight. Let me see if I've got one in here. Let me see if I've got a little flashlight. Let me see if I've got one. So we've got a variety of different attachments here. These are obviously for something else. You'll see a little bit later on. Doesn't look like we're going to get our attachments. Let me just check my my garbage bag right here. What's in my garbage bag? Aha! There we go. We got any suppressors for this? We do not have any suppressors for this, but that's okay. That's totally fine. But we can attach a flashlight to it. And there's obviously a suppressor for this as well. I don't have it spawned in. You know what? We'll spawn it in. We're looking for the handgun. There it is. We'll attach that. And you can see it. It looks fantastic. It looks absolutely fantastic. And it sounds different as well. Sounds so good, doesn't it? Anyway, that is the 9mm variety for the M9s. The HS9 is a little bit of a different... Oh, it's lethal. It's lethal. I love the HS9. Now, I'm also going to load up the HSSF19 because these are two guns that are made by the same manufacturer, right? So if I do Shift R to check my magazine, you can see that it has 16 rounds in it. 16 rounds in this little gun. This is an absolute killer of a weapon. This is probably the gun that you want to aim for if you're looking to kill lots of puppets or lots of players. Now, the reason why I say I want to also have the SF19 in my hands is because it looks relatively similar. It holds 3 extra rounds more than the HS9. This holds 16. This holds 19. These are the two highest caliber, or sorry, highest ammo capacity pistols in the game. These two right here are the highest capacity ammo pistols in the game. Now, the other thing that I want to just draw your attention to right now is this. Let me just show you. Do you notice any difference between these two magazines besides the shading on the side of the magazine? I'll zoom in a little bit just to let you see. The shading is quite different. To the naked, if you weren't focused on it, if you were kind of just glancing over at it, these two look the same. One thing to note with this, you cannot put the SF19 into the HS9, right? You can't do it, see? It won't let me load it. It needs to be the HS9 magazine for the HS9 pistol. And as well as that, the SF19 for the SF19 magazine. That's one thing you need to be careful of, because they do look very similar. And that's one thing you need to watch out for. You need to watch out for these kind of differences. Now, the last two are going to be quite interesting. This is the Kruger. The Kruger is a 22 LR pistol, and it holds 10 rounds. 10 rounds total. As you can see, there it is, Rimfire 22 LR. Sounds similar to the M9. Sounds similar to a lot of the guns in the game. I believe they are going to change this at some point, but this is a fantastic little gun. This is a plinking gun, if I want to call it anything. See, if you want to save bullets on your favourite shotgun or your favourite rifle, your favourite sniper rifle, and you want to take out some puppets, use the Kruger. Use the Kruger. You won't kill a lot of players with this. This thing is quite weak, especially when it comes up against any sort of armour. That's just one thing to note. Now, I'm going to use 357 Magnum for this and 38 Special for this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Improvised pistol. Now, let me just show you what the Improvised pistol is. This right here is the Improvised pistol. Improvised handgun made from scrap materials. It can be used across the following calibers: 50 Action Express, 38 Special, 9mm, 45, 357 Magnum, 44 Judge, and 22 LR. This thing can use all the small calibers, as you can quite clearly see. If I load some 38 Special into this, and that's it. In order to reload, you need to press R. He ejects the empty cartridge, loads a fresh bullet in, and he fires away. It's like a flintlock. This is the first thing you want to make in the game. This or that, but we're going to get to that at some point. This is the Improvised gun, or handgun. And it's quite useful in a pinch. Quite useful. I wouldn't say it's completely useless. It has its uses, especially at the very start of the game. But if you're going to choose between this and maybe like a Kruger or a 9mm or a 45 or hell even a revolver, I would take the other guns. But if you're in a pinch and you don't have any of these guns, but you definitely have the ammo, you can use it with the Improvised handgun. So there you go. Next, we're going to move on to shotguns. We're not going to move on to the SMGs just yet, because the SMGs have got a favourite place in my heart. We're going to move on to the shotguns and the variety that we have. So, we have the DT11B, long barrel and short barrel. We have the M1887 lever action shotgun, long barrel and short. And we have two pump action shotguns. We have the Tech 01490 and the Estas 12M. We're going to start off with the Mule. Now, the Mule is simply just a DT11B with a very snubby nose on it. It's a very good close quarters weapon, and you can use a variety of calibers with this, specifically 12 gauge calibers. Now, do we have any 12 gauge calibers to hand? Let's just see if we've got any in my trash bag. There we go, there's some 12 gauge calibers. We have the Improvised cartridge, which is a crafted cartridge. Is one crafted by you. We also have the buckshot, the birdshot, and we have the slugs. Shoot once, shoot twice, and then you kind of exit those cartridges and reload the next. It's a good close quarters weapon. The DT11B long barrel has a little bit of range on it. It's also a fantastic weapon. I love this to bits. This is one of my favourite guns, especially when there's low-flying planes. This is essentially just a clay pigeon shooting weapon. If you've ever done some clay pigeon shooting, you'll recognise this gun, or the type of gun that this actually is. It's an over-under, 2-in-1, but it's very good for close quarters against puppets and for against players. Now the next one we're going to look at is the lever action, the 1887 lever action snub nose, or the shorty. This has 6 rounds in it, and you can see that the lever action is working right in front of you. Now, one thing to be careful with this is that when your stamina starts to drop, your lever action smoothness starts to kind of waver a little bit. Not just that, as this thing takes durability damage, you'll start to notice that it starts to kind of crank and hitch and start to catch. Keep these things very well maintained using spare parts or weapon cleaning kits. Now the long barrel, similar in style to the lever action. Again, all of these shotguns can use all of these different types of 12 gauge. My recommendation is to have plenty of slugs and plenty of buckshot. Buckshot for close range and slugs obviously for medium to long range. If you can find yourself some improvised or craft yourself some improvised cartridges, even better. Birdshot is not really something you want to be looking for. This is maybe something to use against puppets, not so much against players. This has got 12 gauge buckshot in it. You can see the coloration of the cartridge going into the barrel. There we go. Now, the next one, and this is where we start to get to the more sophisticated weapons in the game. This is a Tech 01. It is a fantastic weapon. I love it. And it has 8 rounds. It is an 8-round tube, and you can attach different types of red dot sights to this. Red dot sight that you're all used to. This one here, the MRO, I believe it's called. MRO red dot sight. This also has a 12 gauge suppressor on it, and it has a flashlight. This is what it sounds like with the suppressor. This is what it sounds like without the suppressor. Menacing. Very menacing. The next one is probably the fan favourite amongst a lot of players. This little shotgun right here is the Estas. 1 round less than the what's this called again? The Tech 01 490. I just call it a Pumpy. This is the Estas, this is the Pumpy. This has 1 less round than the long barrel Pumpy, but it's still just as good. Again, sounds similar. And obviously without. Menacing. Again, all of these shotguns that you see before you can use all of these different types of rounds. So I'm just going to put them back into this little box here. The next set of guns that we're going to look at are mostly, you know, USSR, kind of Russian style kind of weapons. We have the AK platforms, we have the VSS, the AS-FAL, and we have the RPK. Now, not only that, it's missing something. It's missing the SVD, but we'll get to that. We will get to that. So, we have a collection of different types of AKs here. Now, this is the most sought after gun in the game, alongside the Mark 18, which you will see. Now, if you're to do this, holding shift and left or shift and right click, you can see what type of fire mode you're in. Because I'm using my preference on the HUD, you can't actually see it. We're currently in automatic mode. But if I was to go and hold shift and left click, you hear the click. We are now in semi-automatic mode. Switching back, shift left click. Let's take the suppressor off it. Lovely sounding gun. As you can see, this has a variety of different types of attachments on it. It has the ACOG scope, it has the AK-15 suppressor. I should also note that the AK-15 suppressor also fits the AK-47 platform. You can see this suppressor on the end of the AK-15. You can also see it on the end of the AKs right here, the AKM and the AK-47. Now, one thing I need to note here is, do you see that magazine right there? That magazine will not fit on the AK-15. Even though it is the same caliber, 7.62 by... what's that again? 7.62 by 5.1? 3.9? 7.62 by 3.9. Yeah, 3.9. I was right the first time. So, that magazine there does not fit on this gun. And the same goes for the AK-15 magazine. It does not fit on the AK-47 platform. So, you will need an AK-15 magazine for the AK-15. Okay? So, just keep that to note. Next, we have the AK-47 platform. Probably one of the favourites in this game. Now, on this gun, you will see an absolute plethora of attachments. It's also missing a weapon ghillie, and it's also missing a charm. There are charms in this game through the DLCs, but I'm not going to talk about that. We have an M70 bayonet, a flashlight, an RIS adapter, also known as Red Dove, a dovetail mount, and a V3 holographic sight. Now, these weapons come in semi-automatic and fully automatic. Semi-automatic, shift left click, fully automatic. Now, it also has a bayonet, and you can use it. You can stab with this. Now, these guns come with, like, they don't come with an RIS adapter. You need to find this. But if you do find the RIS adapter, you will be able to attach a variety of different types of sights to this. Now, let me just see if I've got a couple of sights here. We do, we have a couple of sights. Excellent. So we're going to attach this one, which is the Spectre scope, which is a 2 to 6 times. Looks very menacing. I love it to bits. It's one of my favourites. We've also got the XPS holographic sight. And we have these red dot sights right here, as well as the ACOG. The ACOG will fit onto it no problem. We have the Desert Eagle sight, which fits a Desert Eagle, funnily enough. We have the Aim Pro. We have, what else have we got? Have we got any other ones? We've also got the OKP sight, and we've also got the actual red dot sight as well. So if you find yourself an RIS adapter with an AK, you can attach quite a lot of different types of sights to this. I just want to see something. You can also attach long range scopes to this as well, as you can quite clearly see. If you want to find yourself a long range AK, you can definitely do that. You can also attach this long scope to the AK-15 too. So if you want yourself a long range variant of the AK platforms, you can do that. So this next part is actually quite interesting, and it has to do with the magazine that you can see before you. So obviously we've got the bayonet. This bayonet cannot fit on the AK-15. It can only fit on the AK-47, the engraved, and the AKM. The suppressors can all fit across all of these guns. Obviously not these two guns, because these have integrated suppressors into them. But one thing to note here is, if you find yourself a drum magazine, which this engraved variant of the AK-47 has, you can attach it to it. The AK-47 there, the AKM, and the RPK can all hold the drum magazine. And not just that, the RPK right there can also hold the standard 30 round magazine as well. So you have a variety of choice here. But this is the engraved version. You can see the engravings on the side of it. You can see the engravings on the inside of it. It's very interesting looking. And it's got a drum magazine, so and it's 75 rounds. 75 round drum magazine. Very good if you're coming up against players who have a lot of firepower. If you want firepower, that's definitely a thing to have. Next, we have the AKM. Again, all of these guns right here are 7.62 by 3.9. They all use the same ammo type. And this is the AKM. This is essentially just an AK-47, but with a wooden butt instead of the retractable butt, which you can't retract in this game. Again, sounds just like your normal AK. Very crispy, very cool. Next one we're going to head to is the baby version, and I love the baby version. The baby version is simply the AKS-74U. I love that little gun. I love this little gun to pieces. I love it to pieces. Now, this weapon is 545 by 3.9. It does not share the same magazine or ammo type as these four guns right here, or the RPK for that matter. This is the 545 by 3.9 version, and it's a fantastic little gun. And not just that, you can in fact attach. Let me just see if I can do this. You can't. Okay, so you can't attach the long barrel scopes or the long range scopes to this. However, you still can attach a Spectre scope to it, which is medium range, and it makes it look awesome. Look at that. Look at that. So 545 by 39. Again, semi-automatic and fully automatic. Let's take the suppressor off. The suppressor for this is dedicated to it. This is a 545 by 39 suppressor. However, you can attach the AK-15 suppressor to this if you really want to. I would opt for getting this one though. Again, sounds similar to the AK platforms. Nothing really new there. But overall, a very cool looking weapon, a very useful weapon. One of my favourites. A fan favourite, but one of my favourites. Okay. The next thing is probably what, like, I keep saying these are all my fan favourites, and these are fan favourites, but these are favourite weapons of mine. This is the AS Val. This uses 9x39 rounds. 9x39 rounds. It has a dedicated AS Val / VSS magazine, so you don't get confused, and it's also got an attachment for an RIS adapter, as well as a scope or a sight and a flashlight. But there's a really cool thing about the flashlight, and let me just show you in a second here. So, semi-automatic and automatic. I ran out of bullets, but it's got semi-automatic as well. But if you don't want the RIS adapter, you can simply just go for the POSP scope, which is a 4x24 optical zoom, and you can also attach the AS Val VSS flashlight to it. As you can see, it's underneath the barrel, connected underneath the barrel. We zoom down sights. As you can see, it's 6 times. Automatic. Semi-automatic. You can actually see the bullet travelling there. If I hold my breath, you can see the bullet travel. How cool is that? Don't worry, we'll deal with them. Anyway. This is the RPK. This is essentially the AK on steroids. Again, you can use the 30 round magazine, which is in the AKM and the AK-47 there, on this gun if you don't have access to the drum magazine. It also has a variety of different attachments here. We can also attach the AK-15 suppressor to this, and a flashlight, and 2 different types of magazines. And I believe we can also attach the scopes to this. So let's just have a little nosy and see if we can. We can! So there you go. A long-range light machine gun. Long-range light machine gun. But we're going to keep the red dot sight on this for just now. Again, semi-automatic and automatic. Very cool gun. 7.62 by 3.9. As you can see, there's more to come. So, this next lot is dedicated to the snipers and designated marksmen of the game. As you can see, this game has a very massive affinity with sniper rifles, and I can already tell that most people are looking to the far right. That is indeed an M82A1 50 BMG Barrett 50 caliber. Let's start off with my favourite rifles, and then we'll go into my least favourite rifle. Anyway, this is the OM. This is a magic gun. This fires 338 rounds, 6 of which in a magazine, and you can attach any type of scope or sight to this because it has a Picatinny rail, so you can attach any short, medium or long range scopes. That's what it sounds like with its dedicated suppressor. Without a suppressor, when I hold my breath here for just a second, it sounds menacing. Menacing. I haven't included any weapon ghillies on any of these guns, at least I don't think I have, but you can attach weapon ghillies to this to kind of mask the colour of your gun. The next one we're going to aim for is the op. This is one of a this is essentially a famous gun, regardless of what game you find it in. It's in all the Battlefield games, COD games, it's in CSGO, it's in all the shooting games, and it's definitely in this game. And it sounds just like the OM, except the difference between the op and the OM is the op uses 308, the OM uses 338. 338 Lapua versus 308. Alright? And again, you can use any type of long range scope, and it's also got a dedicated suppressor, and you can also use an improvised flashlight as well. That's what it sounds like with the suppressor. Without the suppressor, it still sounds just as crispy. Beautiful. Next, we're going to head to the Hunter's role. Now, this is the Carbon Hunter. The Carbon Hunter, it's one of my favourites, mainly because of its ammo capacity. It holds 13 rounds total. This is the dedicated scope for it. This is the hunting scope for the Carbon Hunter and the Hunter 85. It also has a dedicated 30-06 suppressor, and you can also attach a flashlight to it. But if you don't want that, if you don't want this hunting scope, you can swap out for the improvised side rail, and then you can attach a P223 scope to it. This is obviously 3 times magnification, or 2 times, depending on how you look at this, versus, if we swap back out for the Hunter, 3 times, but not as strong. And you've also got that big red dot in the middle as well. This is what it sounds like with a suppressor. Nothing too special, you know. Without the suppressor though. I could hold my breath, please. Sounds very crispy. Very crispy indeed. I'm going to put these back in here. And put that back into the lot. So, with the Carbon Hunter, you obviously need a Carbon Hunter magazine, and you need 30-06. 30-06, the same caliber as the M1 Garand. I hiccuped and burped at the same time there, I do apologise. Next, we're going to head up to my most hated rifle. This is the Hunter 85. This is a 22 LR weapon, and with it you have a dedicated Hunter suppressor, you have a flashlight, you have a dedicated Hunter 85 magazine which holds 22 LR, and it holds, I believe it's 10 rounds total. So this is a rimfire rifle. Again, using the Hunter scope. If you don't want to use the Hunter scope, I don't know why you'd be using this weapon anyway, because I don't like it. You can actually just swap out for the P223 scope or any other long range scope, but you know, why would you want to? Why would you want to? You know what I mean? No hate against the Hunter 85. In fact, all the hate against the Hunter 85. I don't like this gun. I'm not a big fan of this gun. This gun has caused me more heartache than most guns in this game. But if you want to use it, there you go. There's all the attachments for it, and that's what you will get, essentially. Next is the Kar98K. This is a beautiful gun. This is such a beautiful gun. I love this gun. The time-proved rifle. Sniper rifle for the Germans. Lovely gun. Chambered in 7.92x5.7, an absolute beastly round. It has its own dedicated ZF39 scope and its own dedicated Kar98K suppressor. We can also attach an improvised flashlight to this, as well as a weapon ghillie and a charm. But if you don't want that, you can switch out for the P223 or any other long range scope. So, this improvised rifle rail, as you can see, is very compatible across a variety of different types of weapons, but it's very useful to have. But for right now, we'll stick with the ZF scope, and This is what it sounds like with its suppressor. Sounds beastly, doesn't it? Wait till you hear it without its suppressor. In fact, it's so loud that my character suffers that ringing noise that you'll discover in the game if you don't have earplugs in. It's wild. Next gun, the M1, aka America's favourite rifle. This is the M1 Garand. Now, with the Garand, you've probably noticed it already. Oh, by the way, the Kar98K also comes with a bayonet as well. You can't have the suppressor and the bayonet fixed at the same time. It's one or the other. Anyway, the M1 Garand. This is the 2x2 or 2.2 times scope for it. This is technically an experimental scope, or it might not be an experimental scope, but this is a scope nonetheless. Not one of my favourites, unfortunately. This, however, is the experimental scope. Let me just show you this. And what better way to test it out than to take out a few puppets as they come up and try and annoy me. We'll just run down here and take him out. But this is the experimental scope. This is technically just a hollow tube that focuses you in a little bit. That's all it is. There's nothing special. And this also has a bayonet that you can most certainly use against puppets and players. But if you don't have the bayonet, if you don't have that, you might want to use the suppressor. Or even the flash hider. But here's the suppressor. It's a silly little thing. We've got one round left. The iconic ting. I'm going to spawn in another M1 clip. In fact, I'll spawn 2 in and we'll get ammo count 8. There we go. And insert. But this is an experimental scope. It's not really any that good. It doesn't have any magnification to it. It's simply just a tube. That's all it really is. But if you want to, you can switch it out for a long range scope, or if you don't want a long range scope and you want a medium range scope. See what I mean? Or if you don't want a medium range scope, you can go for something a little bit closer. There you go. Oh, it looks so silly when you do it that way. I like it that they've got this scope that's at the back of it that sits on top of the housing. But yeah, those other scopes are a little bit silly looking. Especially the experimental scope as well. The experimental scope is essentially just a tube, and we've also got the flash hider as well. There you can see at the very top. All it does is take away the flash from the gun. This is the only gun that actually has a flash hider as an attachment in the game, believe it or not. There you go, M1 Garand. Next is Russia's fan favourite. This is the Mosin, aka the 1891. This is chambered in 7.62x5.4. This is the same calibre that you'll be using in your SVD. 7.62x5.4 SVD rounds, or Mosin rounds if you want to use it for that. Now, the Mosin also has a very cool thing about it. You can swap some stuff out. It has its own dedicated PU scope, it has its own dedicated 1891 suppressor. But if you don't want that, and you want something a little bit more stabby, and you don't want something that's old, you want something that's modern, so you want to do this. Let me just stand back here. There you go. Nice big long bayonet. And a nice big rifle scope. And that's what it sounds like without the suppressor. I love that thing. Next is, I keep saying it. It is one of my favourite, it's one of my favourite guns in the game. Because I've been asking for it for so long, and we recently got it, and we've also got the L version. This is the Scar DMR, also known as the Scar H. This is chambered in 308, the same round as our puppy, the Op, sorry. And it's a DMR, so it's semi-automatic. And because it has a Picatinny rail on top of it, you can use any of these scopes on this. Any of these short range, medium range, or long range scopes, you can use them on it. It also has its own dedicated Scar DMR magazine. It's very recognisable with the black and the tan, because the black is obviously the insert where it goes in, and the tan is where it's obviously been sprayed. It's also got a flashlight, and you can attach any sort of ghillie to this and any sort of charm to this alongside your scope of choice. One of my favourites. Love this gun. It's so useful. Next is the next DMR, which is the SVD, or Dragunov, depending how you remember this gun. So, it has its own dedicated POSP scope, which can also be fitted onto the AS-Val or VSS. It has its own dedicated SVD suppressor and SVD magazine. This, as I said, is chambered in 7.62x54, the same rounds that you will be using in your Mosin. You can also attach an improvised flashlight to this. And this is a 6x scope. That's what it sounds like without, or with the suppressor. Without the suppressor, it's got a menacing crack to it. Now, you can attach an RIS adapter to this, and you can use a long range scope on this, or a medium range. I have to remember to keep placing it into my inventory to bring it across here. Medium range, or hell, even short range. It looks very silly with the red dot, or the deagle red dot. It looks kind of silly, I'm not gonna lie. But that is the SVD. Again, one of the favourites in the game. It's a very sought after rifle, mainly because you can hold, I believe it's 10 rounds. Yeah, it's 10 rounds you can hold in this, and it's 7.62x54 rounds. So they're very, very powerful, very good against players. Wouldn't use it against puppets, but definitely use it against players. Now we come to the gun that everybody wants to know what it sounds like. This is M82A1. You know what this thing is. This is the Barrett. It's a 10 round magazine, 10 rounds of 50 BMG. It comes with a flashlight, or you can find a flashlight, create one. It comes with its own dedicated M82 scope, but you can attach any of these scopes to it. And it's got its own dedicated M82 QDL suppressor. Now, this gun is available in a variety of different types of colours, or you can take this one and just colour it with spray paint, if you've got the DLC, of course. Anyway, that's what it sounds like without, or with the suppressor. One of the biggest suppressors in the game. Without the suppressor, it sounds like this. It's beastly. Beastly. Again, 50 BMG for this weapon. You will see the type of box that that contains the 50 BMG. It's a black box with red lining and red lighting as well, or writing, not lighting. Red writing, and it says 50 BMG on it, and that is that's a 50 BMG. Good against everything: players, vehicles, bases, animals, puppets, anything. This is like the gun you use to just remove the thing you don't like. You know what I mean? Should we do launchers, or should we do the 5.56 variety. Let's do the launchers. Okay, launchers in this game. We have a variety of different launchers. We have got the RPG-7. If you don't know what the RPG-7 is, I don't know where the hell you've been. I don't know what kind of games you play, but this is the RPG-7. This is a big round. This is an anti-tank round, or an AT round. And firing... So this is the PG-7M, this is the OG-7M. This is a fragmentation round. Let's reload it. So, by definition, AT used against bases and vehicles can also be used against players if you can shoot it right. Fragmentation round, very good against lots of puppets, very good against hiding players. It's a very cool weapon. You will not find this too often in the game, unless you do particular bunkers, abandoned bunkers, standard bunkers, kill boxes and the like. So, the next, or you can just buy it. You could just buy it out of the trader, but it's a lot of money. You'd rather find it. The next thing that we're going to look at is the VHS BG and the Improvised grenade launcher. You guys know what this is. This is the Improvised grenade launcher. We go to crafting and we go back to our catalogue here. Here it is right here, Improvised grenade launcher. It requires quite a substantial amount of things to be crafted, depending on your engineering experience or engineering level. This is the thing you need to create a 40 mic launcher. Anyway, 40 mic launcher, fire! Reload it. It's essentially just an improvised thumper. If you don't know what a thumper is, you never played Call of Duty 4, you never played Black Ops, etc. This is just an improvised thumper. And 40mm grenades are very good. These are high explosive fragmentation rounds. Right, so if you've got hiding players, if you've got players in bases and stuff like that, this is definitely the thing to use to get them out of it. Next is the VHS BG. Now, the cool thing about this weapon is the fact that you can range it up to 350 meters. Or, I believe that is 500 meters, the very top of that gap. I think that's 500 meters, the very top of that gap. But for 350 meters, this is a personal mortar. See if you've got someone spotting something, and they're like, hey, he's 350 meters away. Cool. Rounds out. $350 away. I keep pressing X when I'm not supposed to be pressing X. It's actually shift. To range this, hold right click, hold shift, and use your mouse wheel to forward and back to obviously range it. So we've got 50 meters. I love the reload animation as well. How it swings out like that. 100 meters. 100 meters on the dot. Again, all of the scopes as well can be ranged as well, so don't forget about that. That's 200 meters, so let's range it for 200. Firing. Just beyond 200 meters, it's probably because of my positioning. It's not a straight line, it's indeed a diagonal line. But if you find yourself some of these 40x46 grenades, and you find yourself a VHS BG, or you craft yourself an improvised grenade launcher, you can do a serious amount of damage to players, puppets, bases. You can do some damage. Next up, we have the AT4 high explosive anti-tank. Now, to get this ready, you actually press R. And if you want to put it away, you press R again and it closes all the sights away. So when you've got it sat like this, you're like, I can't see the sights, I can't aim down sight. Hit R. Weapons ready. Sights ready. You can now fire. How cool is that? But this is a fire and forget weapon. This is technically it spent. So if you're going to be attacking a base, it's probably best to use an RPG. Maybe not an AT4. If you do have AT4s, use them for defense, maybe. Because it is a high explosive anti-tank. The high explosive part still means it's going to have a little bit of fragmentation about it. The last one we're going to look at is the improvised flamethrower. This, again, is something that you can craft. Right here. There's the crafting recipe for it right there. There it is in the ranged weapons. Now, this uses fuel from a fuel can. And this is how we check that it's full. 100%. Hold right click, left click. And it casts flame. Hans, get the Flammenwerfer! It's a very, very good weapon to use against players who are maybe kind of stuck in a little tight spot. Maybe you don't want to round that corner. Maybe you don't want to take the corner. Hell, just send the guy with the flamethrower in. He'll do a good enough job to do that. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the 5.56 variants. So, we're going to start off with my favourite gun in the game. This is the M16. The M16 has the capability of holding the M9 flashlight or the improvised flashlight, any type of scope or sight, and it also has its dedicated Mark 18 suppressor. This is an M16, this is for the Mark 18, but it's still a 5.56 weapon suppressor. It's also got a dedicated M16 magazine, which is 30 rounds of 5.56. If you don't know this gun is 5.56, I don't know what to tell you. It is burst and semi-automatic. And without the suppressor, it sounds pretty damn tasty. Very, very, very cool gun. Next is... Oh, next is something I need to show you guys. It's the M249. And this thing has 100 rounds in its M249 dedicated ammo box. It also can use the Mark 18 suppressor, which is a 5.56 suppressor. It can use any type of short range red dot scope, or red dot sight, sorry. And it can also use an improvised flashlight. Now, this is automatic by default. There is no semi-automatic. Right? Without the suppressor. Now, say for example, you don't have your box ammo, right? You don't have a box ammo, or a box of ammo, or like a kind of ammo box like this to attach to this. Say instead you only have an M16 magazine. You can attach an M16 magazine if you're out of rounds, or if you don't have the rounds to spare. You'll go through the ammo rapid, but you can still use an M16 magazine in this. It's still ready to be fired. And I believe that's also the same with the M249 in real life. You can attach an M16 magazine to it if you run out of rounds. 5.56 light machine gun, very good against everything. It's deadly. It's deadly. Next, the gun that everybody swoons over, the Mark 18. This is the only gun that has a foregrip that doesn't come off. Alright? Mark 18, 5.56 weapon, very short barreled, very short, very CQB like. Dedicated Mark 18 suppressor, can use any medium range or short range sight. Can use an improvised flashlight, and has an M16 magazine, 30 round capacity, 5.56. This thing is semi-automatic and automatic. Without the suppressor. It's a pretty cool gun. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty cool gun. Again, you can attach a weapon ghillie to this and a charm. Next gun is the Scar L. Scar L, again, it's one of my favourite weapons. Anyway, Scar L. Same in terms of the Mark 18, very CQB, medium range. Uses the M16 magazine, uses the Mark 18 suppressor 5.56, can use any long, medium or short range scope or sight, and can use an improvised flashlight. Without. Switch it to semi-automatic. It's a pretty good gun. It's a pretty good gun, guys. I'm gonna lie. Like, I can't state how happy I am to see the Scar L in this game. But these next two guns are from Croatia. This is a Croatian game after all, but these two guns are from Croatia. This is the VHS-2. Now, this is the VHS-2. This is the VHS-2 CT. I will show you the difference. Now, the VHS-2, both of which have dedicated magazines, 5.56, 36 round capacity. They can use, or this one can use, any medium to short range sight. I've not tested to see if this can use any long range. Let's just test it out. You can use a long range scope on this. Can we use the P223? We can. Okay, so pretty much every sight that you can think of can go on this gun. Every sight that you can think of can go on this gun. But semi-automatic and automatic, fire rate's pretty cool. It sounds beautiful. It sounds so cool. So cool. But as I said, this is the VHS-2. It has a long Picatinny rail, so you can attach any type of scope to it. This next one is a little bit more limiting, but if you like internalised scopes or built-in scopes or sights, then this might be the one for you. So, this is the CT variant of the VHS-2. Again, using the dedicated VHS magazine and a Mark 18 suppressor, as well as a flashlight. This has an inbuilt 1.5 times sight. See that? Again, without the suppressor. Switch it to semi-automatic. They're pretty cool guns. It's cool that they've got two varieties. You've got the variety in which you can attach your own scopes, your own sights. But you've also got the CT variant. If you don't have access to any scopes or sights, you've at least got a 1.5 times sight to use there. Okay. Now that we're done with this collection of weapons, the last ones to look at is the SMGs. And here they are. So the first one we're going to look at is the Mac Daddy Mac 10. This is a 9mm weapon. This is a fantastic little weapon. The fire rate on this is stupid. Stupid. And you can attach a short improvised rail to attach any short range red dot sight. It's got its own dedicated Mac 10 suppressor and its own Mac 10 magazine. Ammo capacity of this magazine is 32 rounds. It's got semi-automatic and automatic, and let me just show you. Let me show you automatic. Let me show you automatic without the suppressor. Do you see why this is stinking? That's the Mac 10. That is the Mac Daddy Mac 10. It fires at Mac 10. That's probably why it's called the Mac 10, because it fires so bloody fast. Anyway, MP5 time. This is the go-to weapon for most people. It has 3 different types of fire mode: fully automatic, burst fire and semi-automatic. You can attach any medium-size scopes to this, any short-range sights to this. It has its own dedicated MP5 rail. That is, you need this MP5 rail in order to attach any type of scope to it, or any type of sight to it. It also uses the MP5 dedicated suppressor, MP5 magazine, which is a 30-round magazine. It uses 9mm, and it has its own flashlight. Burst. Semi-automatic. And obviously without. HK guns just sound so good. Now, the MP5 has 3 variants. We have the MP5 as it is here, where we can attach a suppressor to it. Right? So this is the MP5. Next, we have the MP5 SD. The MP5 SD, again, needs the MP5 rail in order for you to attach any short or medium range sights to it. It's got its own dedicated MP5 magazine, 30 round capacity, its own flashlight. But this has an internalised or built-in suppressor. Again, burst, fully automatic and semi-automatic. It's got its own inbuilt suppressor, just like the AS Val and VSS. You don't have to worry about a suppressor, it already comes suppressed. A good weapon against players, good weapon against puppets. And the next gun, the MP5K, is not actually in this rack because it can't fit in this rack. It's in this box. MP5K can use the MP5 integrated suppressor, or the dedicated suppressor, dedicated MP5 rail, along with any short range sights, like red dot sights, 30 round magazine capacity, MP5 magazine, and it's just a short, stubby, lightweight little MP5. Again, it also has burst fire, it has fully automatic and semi-automatic. Pretty damn useful. Last one we're going to look at is the UMP45. You know what I'm going to say, right? It's one of my favourites. It's one of my favourites. Again, it has its own 45 ACP suppressor. This same ACP suppressor can be attached to the 1911s and the Block 21 as well. It's got its own dedicated UMP45 magazine using 45 ACP, and it can use any type of medium to short range sight alongside an M9 flashlight or improvised flashlight. It's got a kind of rate of fire, but it sounds pretty cool. Burst. Semi-automatic. Take the suppressor off it, and that's what it sounds like. It's a pretty tasty weapon. It's a pretty tasty weapon, and that's every type of firearm in this game, ladies and gentlemen, including the launchers as well. That's every type of firearm. Their attachments, what they sound like, the calibers that they use, the varieties of different types of calibers that can be used across different guns. Oh, we forgot one. And he's staring at me right now. The improvised rifle. This has an improvised flashlight, an improvised oil can suppressor, a ghillie. It has a long range or a long improvised rail and an improvised scope. Everything on this gun besides the weapon ghillie is improvised. And you can use just about any rifle caliber for this. Improvised rifle made from scrap materials. It can be used with the following calibers: 12 gauge, 30-06, 308, 338, 545 by 39, 556 by 45, 762 by 39, 762 by 54, 792 by 57, and 9 by 39, excluding the only caliber it cannot use, which is 50 BMG. This is the improvised rifle, and it is one of the first weapons that you will always find yourself making in this game, especially in a PvP setting. I have killed quite a few people with this gun, having found maybe scrap ammo, maybe some 7.62, maybe some 7.92, and I've got myself an improvised rifle, and I've got myself a little firearm. Albeit it is essentially just a musket, it's still very useful. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been every type of firearm inside the world of Scum. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you learned some stuff from it. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you want to share it around with your friends, show them the variety of firearms in this game. I didn't cover the calibers as much. There are a variety of calibers. You get standard rounds, you get tracer rounds, and you get armor piercing rounds. But you've also got crafted armor piercing and crafted ammo right here as well. So you've actually got 5 different types of calibers that you can choose from, really, or 5 different types of variants on each caliber. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, if this helped you, if this was of interest to you, leave a thumbs up on this video. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What's your favourite gun from this entire list? What sounded the best to you, or what looked the coolest to you? I'm sure there will be a few people that will say that the scars look pretty damn good in this game, as well as the Kar98K maybe, and the OP and the Accuracy International. That as well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this video and the other videos on this channel, and you've still not subscribed, consider subscribing, ring the little bell, you'll stay up to date with videos just like this, as well as a Sunday night live stream which starts between 6 and 7 PM UK. We go for about 3-4 hours playing the likes of Scum and a variety of other survival games. If that piques your interest, I'd love to see you there. Anyway folks, as I said, if any of this helped you, if anything in this video interested you, tell me in the comments below. Again, this is targeted at people that maybe don't know so much about Scum and its firearm variety. Hope this has helped. Thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I've been Mr. Feudal. I'll see you all another time.